As part of ongoing efforts to enhance security in rural communities, the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, CP Mamman Bitrus Giwa, on Saturday, May 10, 2025, led a comprehensive security patrol of Nimbo, Opanda, Adani, Ogurugu, and Nkpologu communities in Uzo-Uwani local government area. The patrol aimed to boost the confidence of rural residents, deter criminal activities, and strengthen synergy among security agencies operating in the area. During the operation, CP Giwa visited both the temporary and permanent sites of the Nigerian Navy Ship NNS Madueke located in the area. The commander of the Naval base, Commodore A. Odejobi, warmly received the commissioner and actively joined him in the patrol. They were also accompanied by the executive chairman of Uzo-Uwani local government area, Honorable Uzugwu Chijioke. CP Giwa reaffirmed the unwavering resolve of the police and other security agencies to intensify collaborative efforts in tackling criminal elements, particularly those involved in violent crimes. He assured residents, especially those in rural areas, of the continued commitment of security forces in Enugu State to ensuring their safety and overall security. Accompanying the commissioner were DCP Gregory Itobore, head of the command's operations department, ACP Idowu Aziz Moruf, commanding officer number 3 PMF Enugu, ACP Oyewale Kehinde Suraju, head of the State Intelligence Department's SID, ACP Stephen Gudu, Nsukka area commander, and other senior police officers. What this does is just reinforces people's confidence in knowing that the security agencies are around them. Beyond that, it also reinforces the fact that policing is not only in the metropolis, in the Enugu city alone, but it is also important that we look at what's happening in the fringes. I think few days ago, word was on the street that there was some killings in Nimbo, and I had to call the PG. Incidentally, the PG, because of the report I did for Nimbo last year, I didn't know that the PG had relinquished his position. I think it's a 2 years interval that you come and go. They appoint a new PG. So I called the PG. He incidentally told me that he's not in town. He is no longer there. He doesn't live in that village, but that the town now has a new PG. So I called and I spoke to him about the fact that I heard news about the fact that another killing happened in Nimbo. And he said, yes, he heard it too, but he would not be able to give me the full gist. But what he heard is that one person was killed in Nimbo. And by the way, just to also mention, Nimbo is a town under Uzo-Uwani local government area. So I'm sure this is one of the reasons why the CP, went there to just patrol, move around, show a little bit of force, show a little bit of commitment to securing lives and properties in that area. Because again, what people have started saying is that they are now forgotten. And to think that a certain senator, not a senator, a rep member, Dennis Abu, what am I saying? No, it's a senator representing that zone in Enugu North Senatorial District. Okezia came out the other day and say that people should defend themselves. By defending themselves, I mean carry arms. It becomes imperative. It becomes important that they do these things, and they should do it regularly. It's not a situation where you stay in the town and say nothing happened, or maybe send a few persons to go and ask what happened and how many persons were killed, and then you report it, put it on in the press. You should go beyond that and do this more often. Go to a Hamufu, do a little show of force, stay there for 2 days. Meet your army hierarchy in that axis, collaborate with them, go around the town, tell people, look, we are here for you. Because it also helps the community to get reinforced, to also feel confident that security agencies are around and they are around to help them, to assist them. Yeah, I wanted to be sure that what I said was actually true. It's actually the senator representing Enugu North, Okezia, that said that people should defend themselves, not Dennis Abu. Dennis Abu hasn't actually said that. Dennis Abu was the one that just defected from the Labour Party to the PDP. in the state, and he was saying that the reason for his defection is because the governor is doing well. Well, sometimes some of these people just rile on people's imagination and people's thoughts, and do things. First of all, he said that the community wanted him to join PDP because he's doing well and the governor is doing well, and the only way you can align things together is for him joining the party. And I dare say no. You don't have to be in the same party with a particular politician in order for you to do well. If you're already in position, you can do your thing, and it only just complements what the person is doing. That you are in the same political party with somebody doesn't mean that you're going to do well together. It doesn't water down anything. It just for you complements whatever it is that you're doing. But I just feel that maybe he feels he's not going to be able to win an election. That's the reason why he's doing that, because I feel that if you can win an election on your own, on the merit of what you have done for the people, you cannot tell me that you will lose an election in Nigeria. The people themselves will die for you, will make sure that you win that your election. Go and check people who have done well during their tenure. They don't have to struggle during the second term, except there's an extra force. There's an extra force somewhere, somehow, that comes and says, try to fight their way through, but I want to go deep into that access, but I'm just telling you, just like what Delta State did, they're going to the federal, they're trying to support the federal, joining APC because they want to bring development to the states. Whether you join APC or don't, your development first is your responsibility. So whether your federal allocation comes to you, is there anything extra? If it's not your personal interests, is there anything extra that the president will give to Delta State? Is it that they will now increase their 30% derivative to make it 30%? Or is it that they are going to stop paying them their allocation or increase their allocation? That's the reason why they are aligning to the federal. Delta is one of the richest states in Nigeria in terms of oil revenue and business. So what is the force? Why are you moving into APC if it's not the leaders' interests that you're trying to protect? Of course, we know the EFCC thing. So when politicians come up and say things that are aligning with the federal, so that's neither here nor there. It's absolute fallacy. Absolute fallacy, frankly speaking. Having said that, coming back to this particular thing about security in the outskirts of Enugu State, it's important, like I mentioned, that the police must make sure that they reinforce confidence, because when these things happen and all what we hear is nothing happened, it's just a fear mongering, and then nothing happens truly from your end, but from their end, the community is telling you that something happened. Some of them are reporting that their family members were killed. Family members went to the farms and they didn't come back. You can't be telling them nothing happened. Sometimes show up, meet with the community leaders, interact with them and tell them that, look, you are in for them. Give them numbers to call when things like this happen, so that you guys can also be at alert. Because I really don't understand how things would happen in that community for hours. And we have, community heads, we have leaders, we have police, we have army, there, and nobody would raise an eyebrow and say, okay, let's go and stem the tide of this insecurity situation that we're facing. Nobody does it. Why? So by and large, it's important that the police continue with this reach out, with this consistent, reach out beyond just this meeting that they did. I think they should also go further to do some sort of town hall meeting in those locations and hear from the locals themselves. It is when you hear from these locals that you're able to find out ways you can collaborate with them in order to make things better. Because it's tarnishing not just the image of the police in Enugu State, but it's tarnishing the image of the government as a whole. Because on one hand, you'll be hearing, this governor is doing well. On the other hand, you'll be wondering, is it not the same state? I'm telling you what my people tell me from outside the state. They'll be telling you, this governor, they say is doing well, that
There's a killing in the state again. They tend to be confused whether are you sure this thing that we are saying that is true or false. Yes. One called me the other day and said, I thought you say your state is doing well. I said, well, state is doing well now, like like you hear and you see. But how am I hearing that they are killing in Hamofu, that's killing in Nimbo, that's killing? So sometimes some of these people who are outside even have more information than those of us who think that we're inside. Yes, but sometimes those news items are either false, half truths. Something happens and then you want to escalate it, you want to make it look so dramatic. These things happen. But to the extent of how it is blown, I mean, we're talking about human lives. I mean, you just have to scream when it is human life, no matter, even if it is a child, that is killed. You just have to speak about it. It's not like the child died because of illness. I mean, killed just because they went to a farm. They killed just because, somebody wants to grab their land. So by and large, it's very important. It's very important that this police formation in Enugu does this thing consistently. So beyond just the security within the metropolis, which is highly commendable, but security, outside the metropolis, so that we can actually have some sort of confidence in what the police and the joint forces are actually doing in that regard. I also commend the Giwa who on his own went there, to patrol and to see for himself. I'm sure he must have interacted with a few persons who are giving him first-hand information about what's going on in that area, and maybe he also have to reinforce some plans regarding that development. Having said that too, I also wanted to say something about the senator who said that they should take up arms, or better still, they should defend themselves. It is constitutional to defend yourself, the way and manner that you deem fit necessary, because again, you can't be looking at somebody kill you and you won't act or you won't react. But I want to say that if you're a senator who have decided to tell your people to defend themselves, not to the premise of using the Constitution, but telling themselves because you have failed in your duty to call the attention of the government in making sure that they secure your people, I think you should relinquish that position, because you have actually failed in your duty. Because you cannot tell somebody to defend themselves with bow and arrow. You provide arms for them. You provide guns for them. And before you are actually allowed to have guns in Nigeria, you should actually license it. So I'm not also saying that it is okay for anybody to be attacked. The Fulani herdsmen who are carrying AK-47 around should be apprehended, and they be brought to book according to the law of the land. So don't tell us go and defend yourself without providing ammunition, arms, and relinquishing your duty as a senator who has failed in your regard to represent the people properly. Don't tell us that. Give us solutions. How many times has he even visited the police in Enugu State? How many times has he even visited the army hierarchy in Enugu State, telling them about the plight of his people? I'm just so miffed by some of these things that I hear most of the time. But for those who missed out on it, I'm going to play back that video where he was telling his people to, bear arms and defend themselves, as the case may be. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and endeavor to always click for that to share and to tell everybody about this particular channel. Thank you for watching. Truly appreciate it.